Now at 5, the completion of a project bringing multiple storm shelters to southwest Missouri. Plus, new information concerning a fatal crash in Galena. And
for a second full day, the Trump administration steps up its crackdown on illegal immigration. I'm Natalie Brand at the White House with details of the new directives.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
After almost 3 years, the final of 6 storm shelters in McDonald County has been completed. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. The final shelter cut the ribbon this afternoon with a special guest in attendance. Missouri Commissioner of Education Dr. Carla Esslinger was at today's celebration. Esslinger joined the McDonald County Superintendent, Anderson Elementary Principal, and McDonald County Emergency Manager to cut the ribbon.
And what I'm seeing here, which I knew I would see, is that there is just such a connection and partnership with the community and the school, the children, the teachers, the principals, and that's when kids win.
The storm shelters were part of a $21.5 million bond issue passed by McDonald County voters in April of 2022. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy now for our first look at the weather.
Well, still cold outside, but significantly warmer today compared to what we had yesterday. Yesterday, we only hit 20. Today, we went into the upper 30s, which is pretty good. 36 in Joplin, 37 is where we stand in Pittsburgh, 35 Stockton, 37 in Anderson, 38 Bella Vista, Miami, looking at 41, 39 in Parsons. We are going to cool down. We're going to slide back through the 20s. We'll have a few hit and miss clouds out there. The winds have been a little bit breezy, but these will come down a bit for us tonight, so we're not going to have to deal with much in the way of a wind chill factor. We do have some clouds to our north, so we're going to call it partly cloudy skies as a weak little wave ushers in just a smidge cooler air by the time we head into the daytime hours on Thursday, as we'll still go into the mid 30s. But the overall trend here is warming up. We're going to talk about that here in a bit.
See you soon. Authorities have released the name from yesterday's fatal crash in Galena, Kansas. This was at K26 and US 400, the newly reconfigured intersection that opened in June of last year. 79-year-old James Monroe Reed of Veneta, Oklahoma, was driving east on Old Highway 166 and hit a tow truck. He died at the scene. His passenger suffered serious injuries. Police in Nashville, Tennessee are investigating a school shooting that left at least one student dead and another wounded. Police say a 17-year-old male student with a pistol walked into the Antioch High School cafeteria and fired multiple shots just after 11 this morning. He shot 2 female students, one of them fatally, before shooting and killing himself. President Trump has spent much of the first couple of days in office enacting his plans to step up border enforcement. Natalie Brand has more details from the White House.
As the Trump administration begins a major crackdown on illegal immigration, CBS News has learned U.S. border agents have been told to deport migrants crossing into the country illegally without allowing them to request asylum. While the Biden administration enacted its own asylum restrictions last June, migrants could still plead their case if they expressed fear of being harmed once deported.
President Trump's new leadership at the Justice Department also sent a memo Wednesday directing employees to step up immigration enforcement and investigate any state or local officials who might try to obstruct new policies.
So sanctuary cities are going to get exactly what they don't want. More agents in the communities, more people arrested, more collaterals arrested. So that's a game they want to play. Game on.
Tom Homan, who President Trump calls his border czar, says targeted immigration enforcement operations are underway with hundreds of arrests already. Immigration advocates nationwide, including in Miami, say they're working to educate people of their rights.
One of the main things that we're working on is making sure that our community has the tools necessary to protect themselves with the upcoming threats.
Over on Capitol Hill, House Republicans announced a new select panel to investigate events leading up to January 6th. It comes as Proud Boys leader Enrique Tarrio, convicted of seditious conspiracy, was released from prison.
The miscarriage of justice that happened in these cases, regardless if somebody agrees with putting their hands on a police officer or whatnot, how the process worked out was unfair.
Before Trump's pardon, Tarrio had been serving a 22-year sentence in one of the most high-profile cases related to the January 6th Capitol assault. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Tarrio said he wasn't really surprised by Trump's decision to issue a blanket pardon, saying Trump is a man who keeps his word. But some Republicans have said it did catch them by surprise, including Alaska Senator Lisa Murkowski, who said it sends a discouraging message to police officers. Still ahead, what new economic policies could mean for our future.
President Trump is promising big economic changes. I'm CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger with the top 5 things economists say we need to pay attention to.
But first, more states restrict cell phone use in public school classrooms. We're going to look at the reasoning next in Health Watch. Topping today's Health Watch, although you might not feel the sun's powerful rays during the cool winter months, they can still affect your skin. A dermatologist from U.S. Dermatology in Joplin urges you to take your skin seriously even when it's cold outside. He explains that many patients come in with issues like dry, itchy skin and even asthma this time of year, but he says there are simple ways to keep your skin safe and feeling great all season long.
One of the most common mistakes that people make is taking hot showers and hot baths. They feel really good this time of year, but hot water really dries the skin out. Using harsh soaps, detergent soaps, fragrance type soaps will dry the skin out as well, strip the natural moisturizers off the skin.
Dr. Towery also recommends wearing sunscreen in the winter with an SPF of 30 or higher. New York could soon join other states that limit cell phones in schools. Governor Kathy Hochul is launching a proposal to restrict phone use for the entire school day, including at lunch. Some students could be allowed medical exceptions. If approved, the ban would go into effect at the start of the next school year. Meg Oliver visited a New York high school that isn't waiting.
At Poughkeepsie High School in New York, students have been required to lock up their phones since last April.
Did you like the idea in the beginning?
No. I thought I needed my phone.
And now?
I don't need it.
At least 8 states have passed policies that ban or restrict cell phone use in schools, and more than a dozen others are considering proposals to do the same, including New York.
Our kids will finally be freed from the endless disruptions of social media and all the mental health pressures that come from it.
Under the proposal, beginning next fall, students in grades K through 12 would give up their smartphones and watches during school hours. Individual school districts could decide how to implement the policy. At Poughkeepsie High School, students like Catalina Lopez Maldonado lock up their phones in a pouch called Yonder.
The day of that I got my phone taken away by the Yonder pouch, I thought I was like hearing and feeling vibrations from my phone, and it made me realize that I was like addicted to it.
Studies have shown excessive screen time among teenagers results in higher rates of depression and anxiety.
You've been doing it since April. How's it going?
It's fantastic. I see personally an increase in grades, an increase in classroom conversation.
As far as the debate over safety concerns,
I think it's a catch-22 because, again, I think if there is some kind of an emergency, parents would be contacted. And I think having a phone in that kind of situation, you have ringers on, that could be a real problem if there is someone in the building who shouldn't be.
Under Governor Hochul's plan, which still needs legislative approval, simple cell phones without internet capability would still be allowed, and schools would be required to give parents a way to contact their kids during the day if needed. Meg Oliver, CBS News, New York.
Children experiencing poverty or having parents with mental illnesses have a much higher risk of arrest or using weapons. A study in the Journal of Epidemiology and Community Health found teens facing those adversities were 5 times more likely to be arrested. The study also showed nearly a quarter of all police contact with teens involved teens who face persistent poverty or family mental health challenges. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, our Pet Vet on Call.
Hi, I'm Dr. Eva Dudek from Parsons Pet Hospital. Coming up, we're going to talk about armadillos in the cold.
Plus, it's still cold outside for us right now, but we are going to warm up. Well, of course, it turned out to be another cold one for us today, but still, it was a lot warmer today compared to what we did see yesterday. We've had the sunshine. It's been breezy, but still, overall, not too bad. Great shot. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. You can see those clear skies across the region. We are going to get some clouds in here later on tonight, but check this out. Here's our 24-hour temperature change. It's 15 to 20 degrees warmer right now compared to this time last night, which is great to see. It's been so cold over the past several days. 35 in Carthage, 37 in Bentonville, 40 at Grand Lake. Chanute is also sitting at 40 degrees. And look at the brunt of the Arctic air shifting out of the region. And if you look back toward the south and to the west, starting to warm up just a little bit. We are going to get some clouds in here. We'll slide back into the 20s, not near as cold as what we have seen over the past couple nights for sure. The winds, a little breezy again for us tomorrow. Northwesterly winds 15 to about 20. So we're going to be a smidge cooler tomorrow, but then they're going to switch out of the south as we go into Friday. It's going to be windy Friday, winds gusting near 30, but this is going to help us go into the 40s by the time Friday afternoon rolls around. Not too much going on here. You can see some clouds, a couple little bands of light snow showers and flurries, mainly to our north. This is another weak little front that is sliding in, which is going to give us a little bit cooler air for us tomorrow. With these clouds, we may see a few bouts of flurries, but that should be just about it. Jet stream still out of Canada, but ridge is building back toward the west, and that's going to help shove all this off toward the north and to the east. Let's go through time tonight. We slide back, lower 20s, some bouts of clouds, maybe a few random flurries. Not a big deal. Lower 20s to start. As we go to the noon hour, should get near freezing. I think most of us 33, 34 degrees for an afternoon high. It is going to be colder tomorrow night. We're going to slide back into lower teens once again. So starting Friday, cold, but those southerly winds pick up. And look at our afternoon highs. We get well into the 40s, low to mid 40s for highs on Friday, which is going to be nice to see. All right, day planner, 23 in the morning, 32 by noon, high temp, right around 34 degrees on your Thursday. And then let's go down the road into the weekend. We are going to get some clouds in here on Saturday. We're still going to be well into the 40s. We have one system just to our south. We may get a few random showers in here Saturday night into Sunday morning, but most of us are going to stay dry. And then even Sunday, we're still going to be upper 30s to lower 40s for highs. We stay nice back into the 40s once again on Monday. If you're heading north, there's a game Sunday, 5:30 p.m., Chiefs and the Bills. So if you're heading up there, tailgating, not bad, into the 30s. Now during the game, it's going to be into the upper 20s, but it's going to be dry and the winds aren't going to be too strong, which is also good news. Let's go 34 on your Thursday, 44 on Friday, 47 on Saturday, 42 Sunday, back to 47 on Monday, 60 by next Wednesday. So it will get warmer, much warmer next week.
Yeah, 60 degrees. Looking forward to that for sure.
Yep.
Thanks, Doc. Intense and rare winter weather sweeping across the south with the most snow in decades in Houston and the most in more than a century in New Orleans. Alabama and Florida are seeing dangerous conditions as well. In Pensacola, more than 7.5 inches of snow yesterday shattered the previous record set back in 1895. Across the South, at least 5 deaths are attributed to the wintry conditions. Policy changes under President Trump could impact our economy in a number of ways. We're going to tell you about 5 things to watch coming up. Topping today's Consumer Watch, the U.S. is getting a big jolt in funding for artificial intelligence. Yesterday, President Trump was joined by the CEOs of tech companies OpenAI, SoftBank, and Oracle, as he announced that the companies have pledged to invest up to $500 billion for AI infrastructure over the next 4 years. It's part of a joint venture called Stargate. The president says the project could add more than 100,000 jobs for Americans. President Trump is rolling out new economic policies, and CBS News' business analyst Jill Schlesinger says there are 5 things to watch: immigration, trade, the debt ceiling, the deficit, and taxes.
President Trump is promising sweeping economic changes during his second administration. Starting with immigration, economists are focusing on how a crackdown will impact sectors that rely on undocumented workers. That includes agriculture, food processing, and construction. Next, the president says he is considering a 25% tariff on products from Canada and Mexico starting February 1st, which he may extend to more countries. U.S. importers pay the tariffs, and if they pass the extra cost on to consumers, it could mean higher prices. As the U.S. approaches its $36.1 trillion debt ceiling, which is the legal limit on the total amount of federal debt the government can carry, the Treasury is conserving cash. Once we hit the limit, Congress has to raise it, or the U.S. will default on its legal obligation to pay its bills. Finally, the president promised to extend the 2017 tax cuts. If that happens, millions of Americans will continue to pay less in taxes. But it also means the government will continue to bring in less revenue. According to the Congressional Budget Office, that would add about $4 trillion to the deficit over the next 10 years. In New York, I'm Jill Schlesinger.
Netflix is hiking its monthly fee for U.S. subscribers by anywhere from $1 to $2.50, depending on what plan a user currently has. The increase comes after the company reported gaining nearly 19 million new users over the holidays, thanks in large part to its live programming. NFL football. Netflix says the cost for adding an extra family to an account will remain at $6.99. Our Pet Vet on Call next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, British tabloids apologized to Prince Harry in a dramatic end to a bitter lawsuit. We're going to have details on that settlement. Then on KOAM News at 6, more on the completion of a storm shelter project in McDonald County. We're going to hear how it'll benefit more than just students. Plus, a Joplin dermatologist has more tips on winter skincare. And a Fairland High School senior signs with Crowder softball. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Some of us slow down in these cold weather months simply because it's harder to get out and do the things we love in this weather. For some animals, winter behavior is hardwired into their biology. And that brings us to today's question for our Pet Vet on Call. Are armadillos active in winter?
No, they are not. Armadillos have very little fat and very slow metabolism, so cold winter can be very harmful, even fatal to them. On the flip side, so are very hot temperatures. Armadillos spend most of their time in burrows that protects them from the cold or the heat. So in this area here, to see an armadillo out and about, especially if they're still alive, is kind of a treat.
You know, we invite questions from anyone. If you have a question, you just send it to petvet@koamtv.com. Dr. Eva Dudek from the Parsons Pet Hospital answers a different question or brings us a fun fact every Wednesday right here on KOAM News at 5. You can also find answers to previous questions on our website. Let's check out our picks of the litter for the week. From the Joplin Humane Society, we've chosen this Australian Shepherd Poodle mix. This handsome adult male is named Carl. And from the Southeast Kansas Humane Society, this black Labrador puppy boy, about 5 months old, his name is Spike, or whatever you want to call him if you adopt him. Why, if you're looking for a pet, why not check out your local Humane Society? They always have great ones like Carl and Spike and a bunch of others. Weather looking a bit better, Doug.
Yeah, well, overall, we're going to start to warm things back up as we go through the next several days. Tomorrow, 34, a little breezy. It's going to be breezy on Friday, but up to 44, 47 by Saturday. May get a couple showers Saturday night, but the overall trend here, 40s, 50s, even a 60 by the middle of next week.
That sounds terrific. Thanks for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next, and of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. We'll see you then. Let's make it a great evening.